Okay, this is Patricia Karasek. I'm Diane Barrett. I'm interviewing Patricia for the BE collection. It is 6/29/2021. And I want to make sure I spelled your name correctly. Karasek.
That's correct.
Perfect. And what is your occupation?
Well, I have a master's in clinical art therapy. And my primary occupation was a children's social worker for the Department of Children and Family Services in LA.
Okay.
LA County.
And you're an artist.
Yes, in my spare time.
I saw that. I appreciate those. We'll post those videos. They're beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So where were you born?
I was born in Davenport, Iowa, but I was raised in Bettendorf, Iowa, which is on the curve of the Mississippi River.
So how long did you live there?
I lived there 18 years, and then when I was 18, I went to the University of Iowa, and I was in school there for 4 years. And that's where I met my husband. And we were married at the end of my sophomore year.
Wow. Were you the same age?
He's just a few years older than me. We came here in 1960.
And how about did you have siblings?
I have a sister. Her name's Carolyn, but her nickname is Judy.
Okay. And your husband? You're still connected with him?
Yeah, we talk on the phone.
How long have you been separated from him?
30 years.
Whoa, a lifetime, huh?
I was married 28 years. And then I met Michelle, my partner, my current partner. And then that was the end of my relationship with my husband when I met Michelle.
How soon after you met her did you know that she was the one?
Oh, maybe a year and a half or so. And I had no idea that I was gay. I did not have a clue. I had no idea. And then I went, I don't even know how to describe it. Life Spring. Do you remember hearing about Life Spring? Okay, so I went to Life Spring, and I went to 3 different sessions, which lasted so many weeks. And I was at...
So that was part of conversion therapy?
No.
No, what was Life Spring? I remember the name, but I don't
know. No, it was just to enhance your growth.
I see.
That's all.
Wasn't about whether you stayed married or didn't, or...
No, they put you through a bunch of activities.
What made you think that would be a good choice for you to try?
I was always looking for self-help and self-improvement and psychological kinds of activities to stimulate me.
So did you meet Michelle at work?
Yes. Yes, I've had an interesting career. I worked on the grounds of Metropolitan State Hospital in a drug program. And so in those days, heroin was the worst drug in the world. So I was able to work with drug addicts, and I did art therapy there. And their artwork was incredible and amazing. I also worked with alcoholic women in a house in Pasadena. And I also worked with throwaway teenagers out in the Empire, Inland Empire. And they had most of them were teenagers, and they had all been rejected by their adoptive parents. So they were back in the system.
Mhm.
And that was a very difficult proposition to do that work.
Did
But
you do art therapy with them?
yes, I tried.
But that was your
They were
direction
very
with,
out of control, you know. But
but
yes,
that was your direction with all these groups, was your art therapy?
yes.
I see. Huh. Very interesting.
hmm And I worked also with a group of latency age children. They were about 7 to 11.
Mhm.
And some of those were already abusing other children.
Wow.
And I co-led that group with a fellow.
Now, what spurred your interest in that kind of work, that specific?
I have no idea.
Huh. But you liked it.
I don't know. I think when I was a kid,
Mhm.
I always wanted somebody to come and save me.
Were you abused as a child?
Well, I emotionally, yeah, I wouldn't want anybody to trade places with me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I had a very difficult childhood.
Did you have children in your marriage?
I have 2 children. I have a daughter
Mhm.
and I have a son. And I have 3 grandchildren.
How many?
3.
Wow, that's good. So how did your children handle your sexuality?
Well, my son was very angry when I left. I don't know about the sexuality part,
Mhm.
but I know he thought I was terrible for making my husband suffer like that.
Mhm. How old was he when you left?
Hmm?
How old was your son when you left the marriage?
About 17,
Uh-huh.
and he was still in high school. And my daughter was out of the home by then.
Uh-huh.
So it was just my husband and my son.
Mhm.
And then later on, my son said to me, he understood perfectly why I left.
But you weren't really aware of your sexual preference until you met Michelle.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, it was actually at Life Spring. I was doing one of those, another exercise. You know, they had you doing all kinds of activities and acting out scenes and giving you assignments to do. And all of a sudden, you know, it occurred to me that I was gay.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Ah, it was your moment.
It was like an aha.
Sounds like it.
Uh-huh.
And then what did you do with that information?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And then a few years later, I met Michelle
Uh-huh.
and decided she was for me.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And we've been together about 31 years now.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you have a domestic partnership?
Yes.
I think that's your main thing, but I'm not an attorney, so. Where do you do your art now? At home?
Yeah, I have a townhome
Uh-huh.
and I have an upstairs and a downstairs, and the downstairs has 2 master bedrooms. And one of those bedrooms is my art studio.
In terms of your relationship and your sexuality and your career, has it ever been, have you been out once you came out to yourself? Did you stay out to people you worked with? And
Yes.
Good.
But when Michelle and I went back there to visit, you know, we slept in a bedroom together, and my dad didn't think a thing of it. And Michelle thought it was really funny. One day he knocked on the bedroom door and he stuck his head in and he says, "It's time to get up now." But he just treated us like, well, nothing bothered him.
So you wouldn't say you were really close to your parents? Sounds like you grew up on your own. went to
Yes.
college and got married.
And you know, when kids do that, they find supportive people. And I did get into the University of Iowa with my own money.
So you were very self-directed, even as a young person.
Yes. I never thought of it that way.
Interesting. Do you ever make your art a reflection of your connection with her?
Not that I'm aware of.
So you're self-taught?
So I took classes at Cal Poly.
Mm-hmm.
I took oil painting. I've taken watercolor painting. And the reason I appealed to the clinical art therapy program was because I had had so much therapy.
There you go. You
Yes,
didn't know you were laying the foundation.
She wanted people who knew the process of therapy.
Makes sense.
And I don't know how many, my class had about 15 in it. I have no idea what their histories were in terms of therapy. But see, I had family therapy and couples therapy, individual therapy.
That's very important. So if you knew you were going to die shortly, what would you like to be remembered for? Part of the reason I asked that, this is a legacy project also.
Oh, definitely the work I've done. My work as an art therapist, my work as a social worker. That was very meaningful work. I've always been grateful that I had a career that when I die, I could be proud of what I had done. Right. I'm also proud of being a parent and a grandparent. I'd like to be remembered for that.
Thank you. I appreciate
you're very welcome. I'm so happy I did this.